These board members make decisions to make recommendations to the Board of Commissioners. Bless each and every one of the sound of my voice. Bless everybody in this entire world. And our Father will be so careful to give you all the honor and the praise and the glory. In Jesus Christ's name we pray. Amen. Amen. Thank you so much. Just one little caveat, you may see a little bit different tonight. Those of you that have come before, this board has changed from a 7-member board to a 6-member board to mirror the Board of Commissioners. Therefore, you have a member from each district, a voting member, and you have a chair. I will not be in the voting process unless there's a tie. So that is something different than some of you may have noticed before. Just wanted to make you aware of that in case somebody says, oh, that's operating a little bit different than it used to. I now will ask the board members to introduce themselves, starting on my left, and to tell you what district they represent.
Good evening. Bruce Gandy, District 5.
Cynthia Fortson, District 3.
Kenneth Bradley, Vice Chair in District 1. Lee Mitchell, District 2.
And William Smith, District 4.
And we have our zoning administrator.
Tracy Patrick.
And our county attorney.
Mike Pruitt.
All right, we'll get started. As a first order of business, I am required to read a few statements regarding the zoning process. If you have any questions, I will address them once I finish. Zoning directly affects private property rights, which includes the right of the property owner to enjoyment of use of their property, and the right of adjacent owners and the general public not to be unreasonably harmed by specific land use. Tonight is the first of 2 public hearings. A second one will be held before the Board of Commissioners on March the 3rd in this room at 6 p.m. Attendance is not required, but your attendance is recommended in case you have questions that I am not able to answer. As to the order of business tonight, I will introduce the applicant, and then the zoning administrator will give her comments. Then the applicant will come forward, state their name and address, and state their reason for their request. You may provide information or documentation supporting the application. Next, the Planning and Zoning Commission will have the opportunity to ask the applicant questions. Next, I will open the floor for public comment. Ample time will be given to those that may want to speak for or in opposition of the rezone request. All comments will be addressed to the commission and not to others in attendance. No personal attacks will be allowed. I would ask that if you are in opposition, or there's a big group of you that are in opposition to a particular rezone request, that you appoint a spokesman or two to present your case, simply because we just don't want to go repetitive, say the same thing over and over again. Next, the applicant will be allowed ample time to rebut any concerns expressed by other speakers. At this junction, no other comments will be allowed except by the board members. Then I will open a special session of the Planning and Zoning Commission. Then I will ask for a motion to approve, deny, or approve with conditions. The recommendations will be presented on Monday night, March the 3rd, to the Board of Commissioners. I do want everybody to understand that this is a recommending board only. These members have been appointed by your Board of Commissioners to listen to and to go out and to look at the properties involved and to make a decision as to what we think. But the Board of Commissioners has the final say. So therefore, regardless of what we decide tonight, I do recommend that you attend that second public hearing. All right, does any of the members of the Planning and Zoning need to recuse themselves for any request tonight?
Mr. Chairman, on number 6 and number 7, I would like to recuse myself, please.
Number 6 and 7.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Smith will choosing himself on 6 and 7. Anyone else? All right. Any questions from the audience of what I went over? Hearing none, we will begin. One thing I am doing tonight is a little bit out of order or a little bit different. I'm not saying out of order. We do have a gentleman here, an attorney for the cell tower that is from Alabama. He has driven here and has to drive back. I ask you to bear with me and allow him to present that case first, so that he can get on the road. If it was me, I would love for somebody to accommodate me if I had to drive that far. So please, bear with us. Eric Conley, applicant, attorney for Christopher Beck. Ms. Patrick, would you?
Okay, they are requesting a conditional use to allow a 286-foot telecommunications tower to be placed on the property. The property is located at 0 West Street in Carlton on map 106, parcel 17 in District 4.
All right, Mr. Conley, would you please come forward and tell us what you want us to know?
Thank you, Mr. Scott, and I appreciate the board accommodating me, and thank you to the audience for letting me do this. My name is Andy Rotenstrike. Erin Conley is an associate, works for me. She helped me prepare the application and submit it to Tracy. So Erin's name got put on the agenda, but I'm Andy Rotenstrike.
All right.
Just so you can spell my last name.
Yes, thank you.
I am here on behalf of a company called Vertical Bridge. Vertical Bridge builds and owns cell towers. They are being asked by T-Mobile to construct this particular tower in Madison County. So the whole point of the tower is to get wireless coverage to this area, southeast corner of the county, in and around Carlton. That's the whole purpose. The property that we're looking at is 11 acres. It's heavily wooded, so all of the ground equipment will be very well shielded from any public right-of-ways and any nearby residences. The proposed tower, as Tracy said, is a 286-foot self-support tower, so it's the three-legged, strongest type of structure we build for this particular tower. And the idea is to get coverage stretching as far as we can, so we build fewer towers, which is what your ordinance requires. Build the least number of towers possible to get the best coverage we can. The first thing that T-Mobile does when it realizes it needs better coverage in an area is it sends out a real estate agent, we call a site acquisition agent, to go look to see if there are existing towers or existing tall structures in an area that T-Mobile needs to cover. And in this case, there is no tower and no tall structures tall enough within 3 miles of where we're trying to get our this tower placed to get the signal out. Because there was no existing tower or existing tall structure, the only alternative is to build a new structure, and that's what we're here about tonight. Now, this tower will be built by Vertical Bridge to accommodate more than just T-Mobile. So when Verizon, when AT&T also need to improve their coverage in this part of the county, they'll be able to just hang their antennas on this existing tower and won't need to come back for another tower. And we do that across the industry, all over the county, all over the state, all over the country. We call that co-location. So this tower is being built strong enough to accommodate all of the major carriers when they decide they need to get better coverage in that area. If I could, Mr. Scott, I've got some handouts just to help kind of explain a little better what we're doing and why we're doing it. Probably got some extra ones. You'll just take one and pass it. I'll start over here with these others. Give it 2 seconds. Just take one of these and pass it.
Should give one to Mr. Pruitt.
He comes around a bit. Sorry, Mike. Didn't mean to forget about you.
I didn't.
So I'm going to start with this one first, kind of walk through it with you. These documents have been submitted and are in the packet that Tracy has. So this first page is an outline of the parcel, the 11 acres that I mentioned. Vertical Bridge is leasing the orange square. It is a 100-foot by 100-foot fenced compound. The tower will be in the middle of it, and all the equipment on the ground will be in the middle of that orange square. This is the only area that Vertical Bridge is leasing on that 11 acres, right? So we're right in the middle of the property, helps us to meet all the setback requirements and all the things related. The yellow line is our access easement from the 100-foot by 100-foot lease area over to West Street to the west. If you turn the page, this is an aerial view of that same parcel, just to show you how wooded the parcel is and how well all of the equipment will be hidden from view on the ground. And just wanted you to see this is an outline of the same lease area and the access easement. The next page is kind of a close-up of that 100-foot by 100-foot lease area with the compound, the equipment in the middle, and it has an elevation view of the tower. So that's what the tower will look like. You'll see on top, it says proposed T-Mobile antenna. That's where the T-Mobile and equipment will be. And then you'll see 3 spots underneath it for future antennas. That's where AT&T, Verizon, and others can go. So that'll show you this tower is being built for all the carriers.
Oh, Walter, we'll pull it up.
Oh, thank you very much. So this page here is kind of shows you what we call the search ring. So in order for T-Mobile to get the coverage it needs to have a tower somewhere in this orange circle or red circle. This is about a half mile to a mile radius at most, so about a half mile in any direction from that yellow push pin in the middle. That's the search area. So we need to be somewhere in that search area, and then we need to find a willing landowner to lease his property and make sure we're meeting the ordinance requirements of Madison County, which this property does. So the next page is T-Mobile's coverage in that area of Madison County. So you can see T-Mobile's got some other sites in and around, but they're pretty far apart. Those are several miles from where we're going. So the colors are what's important here. So you see the triangles with the 3 different colors surrounded by red. Those are existing T-Mobile sites in Madison County. Those 3 triangular little different colors are the sites or towers themselves. The red coverage is really what we're trying to go for. That's kind of the strongest signal because it's closer to the tower, right? The closer you are to the antennas, the better the signal. That's kind of the what we call the in-building coverage. So you can use your T-Mobile phone when you're standing inside a building like we're in now. As you get further from the towers, you get into the yellow and the green area, and the yellow is what we call in-vehicle coverage. Again, you should be able to connect your phone in your car, maybe not in a hardened structure or building like we're in now. And when you get into the green and the blue, that's pretty much very little to no coverage. That's when you got to go outside and raise your left arm and your right leg in order to try and get your phone to connect. So we're trying to get as much red as we can on this map. So the dotted circle in the middle is that search area I showed you, and the triangles in that middle of that dotted circle is the proposed location. If you turn to the next page, that is the same map with this site turned on. And you can see how this one site fills in that gap in coverage with one structure without building multiple structures. And then the last page is a certified stamped letter from an engineer. I would direct your attention to really the last sentence. So the question often becomes, what happens if, God forbid, the tower were to fail? Again, we're on 11 acres, so if the tower were to fall, even like a toothpick or a tree, it would still stay on this property. But we designed these towers to collapse down upon themselves in the unlikely event of a failure. And this is a letter by the tower manufacturers to how this tower will be built to stay within that compound area of 75 feet by 75 feet. So you kind of see who we are, what we're doing, and why. There is an ordinance specific to cell towers in Madison County. We are required to get a conditional use. There are 5 factors in that section, tower section of your ordinance. We meet all 5 factors. The first one is we have to show that there are no existing towers that could accommodate T-Mobile signal, and I showed you there's not one within 3 miles. The selected tower design needs to be visually as unobtrusive as possible. That's why we're on that wooded parcel, so everything on the ground is very well hidden. You're going to see the top of the tower from a distance, but up close, the trees on that property will actually block a lot of your upward view. Number 3, the proposed tower is the minimum height necessary. That's why I showed you those colored maps with the red. That's the minimum height T-Mobile needs to get that coverage to fill that gap. We're not asking for a 500, 600-foot tower here. We're asking for 286, which gets us that coverage to fill that gap. We need to preserve the on-site vegetation as much as possible. We're doing that. Again, we're only leasing that orange square. We can't touch anything outside of that. And then that the tower site is large enough to contain debris resulting from anything falling from the tower, and being on 11 acres with no other structures, we think we do that. We also meet, we think, the 8 conditions for a typical conditional use in the ordinance that's not the telecom part of your ordinance. Again, we don't need any public facilities. We need telephone and power. We don't need water and sewer. Parking is not going to be an issue. There'll be a truck there maybe once a month for about a couple hours just to make sure the radio equipment's working. And we think we meet all the other conditions set forth. And also, I believe staff, Tracy's reviewed it, and in her report says we meet all of the conditions as well. So with that, I'll stop and see if you have any questions, and I'll see if there's any comments from the audience, and be happy to answer any of their questions.
Does the board have any questions for Joe?
Sir, how long is your lease envision?
So, I don't recall the exact terms of this lease, but typically we'll have a 10-year initial term and then several 5-year extensions. So typically it will go 30 to 40 years in all.
No.
Any other questions?
Oh, the drive leading up to the tower, did you say that was 100 by 100
So the
wide?
orange is 100 by 100. The yellow is probably about 200 feet wide, or 200 feet long.
Oh.
And I'm guessing just by looking at the size, because that is the scale.
Okay.
This drawing.
I mean, wide, width to get in.
Oh, I'm sorry. That easement's 30 feet wide, but the actual road part is probably 15. It's just so a truck can get in and out.
So, do we not have to go by the standards of 164 road?
This is just a lease. We're not
Oh, yeah.
subdividing the property.
No, I know that.
Okay.
You know, he might have to get emergency something.
Right. No, and we build it for that as well.
Okay.
Obviously, in case the fire trucks need to get there for any reason.
Okay.
No, but good
I'll
point.
let you know.
Yes, ma'am.
Any further questions?
Since this is a lease and you're not the property owner, you stated that currently, and the intent, I guess, for the near future would be to leave it all wooded. But with the property owner owning the property, does the property owner have a right or any agreement with you to take down trees, put something else on the property? Anything like
There's no agreement. It is the property owner's right to do what he needs with the rest of the property. The only trees we're needing to remove are trees so that we can put in the easement and put in the 100 by 100. We don't need the property owner to take anything down. We have no knowledge of any plans that the property owner has to take down any other trees. And we certainly are not encouraging it.
Is there anything like a buffer zone around it? In case, for example, you mentioned that it collapses upon itself. It does fall like that.
Yeah.
It's going to go 286 feet.
Yeah, so, that's why we do the engineering letter I showed you. That's why we design them that way, right? You know, the strongest part of the tower is the base, because there's like a 12-foot footing in the ground, concrete. So the tower generally will collapse like this and then fall down into the compound. So that is the buffer that we look at from an engineering perspective. In this case, because we're on 11 acres and are able to, you know, be at least that off of the public right-of-way and any property line, I think this property is big enough to do that. That access easement was about 200, maybe a little over, but then the tower's in the middle of the compound, right? So there's another 50 feet. So it's 286 feet to the public right-of-way and then more than that to the other three sides, if that helps. And we look at that. We want to make sure and keep it at least tower height off the roadway if we can.
Any other questions? All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
At this point, we will open the public hearing, and I would ask if anybody in the audience would like to speak in favor of this rezone request. So anybody would like to speak in favor?
I will. I'm Victor
Yes.
Johnson. I live at 1785 Trey Gulch Road, Danielsville. I'm in favor of this request because it will provide additional cell coverage. Many of you may know or may not know that the library has just gotten 18 additional hotspots, which are runnable free for 2 weeks at a time. They are T-Mobile hotspots, and that will allow people to have more access that do not have landline internet in the area. And I think that's a good thing. That's all I have to say about that.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else would like to speak in favor of this particular rezone request? Hearing none. Is there anybody who would like to speak in opposition to this particular rezone request? Please come forward, state your name and address. If there's a bunch of you, if you need one spokesman, fine, but come right ahead.
And if you would, if you're speaking, would you mind signing your name in on the sign-in sheet, just so that, names can be spelled properly in the minutes?
We've already signed it.
Okay.
I'm Sarah Bridges, and I'm Sandra Tucker.
Okay?
We moved to Madison County.
I can't remember the year. I wasn't but started to school, and I can't remember what I did yesterday. But anyway, we lived on this land. Our daddy worked really hard to buy this land, and we live on First Street, which is just across the woods from West Street. It will be joining the tower.
It's joining our land. Our mother passed away 2 years ago, and the land was then left to me and her. And we promised Mom and Daddy that as long as we were living, we would not sell the land. But we do have some concerns. My husband has a
pacemaker defibrillator. We're concerned with the harm from the tower on his heart condition. I have grandkids. I have 4 grandkids. She has 2 grandkids. And we would like for them to be able to live on it if they so desire when they get married or whatever. And I personally think it would take away from the land value. So therefore, we're not for this tower.
We currently have cattle on it.
Do I need to say something? That's all I can say.
Okay. Anything else?
I think that's it.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else that would like to speak in opposition? Please come forward, state your name, sign in, and tell us what you want us to know.
Okay, I'm Betty Stalin. I kind of live next to the property. I live next to them. And I am passing you all out. Share the warning signs posted on these things. First, thank you for hearing me out.
Sure.
As you read your warning signs, remember that if a business shares information, it's usually vague in wording to protect that business. So we can conjecture that they are not being brutally honest. Remember, when you read several hundred, it could also mean several thousand. A mile is just several hundred feet. My main concern is selfishness. It's my health, and this is very, very hard for me to share. I have a rare disease. It's neurological. This disease causes me to live with intractable pain. Intractable pain means I never experience relief from pain. Never. It is caused by a form of cyst that wraps around and attacks my nerves on my spine, causing the signals in my body to be in turmoil as they are sent from the brain. I'm talking physiologically, not intellectually, not emotionally. For that reason, my brain needs any outside signals that pass through the body to be on quiet or less active level. These signals bombard my body every day. The said signals are from cell towers, internet, TV, electric wire. In my home, the TV is not plugged up. My cell phone is never in my bedroom. There's no alarm clock. Most items that run on electricity are unplugged. I refuse to get a weather radio to add to my home. Even the Wi-Fi box is unplugged at night so that I can attempt to sleep. I personally never have an unaware or quiet sleep. Getting away from the numerous signals from neighboring homes was the main reason we left Barrow County. We lived in a subdivision, so my head was going boom all the time. By the way, signals travel through the air as your crow flies. There are already 2 towers that I sit between. One's less than a mile from my property. The other is about a half a mile, or one and a half, 2 miles at the most, and that's as the crow flies. That's not the road. Hopefully, you have researched the dangers, and my warning sign is nothing new to you. Hopefully, you take what a business says about safety and how good their product is with a grain of salt. Think Roundup. Think Agent Orange. I come from a family with Agent Orange. Would you want something like one of those towers in your backyard? Is it something you would want for your family? And I can tell you, I can look on my front porch and see 2 towers lighting up at night. I don't care if they're T-Mobile. I don't care if they're AT&T. If they need better coverage, hook onto those 2 towers that's already there. There may be even 3 that I can see at night. So his not having coverage in that area, we have 5 coverage in that area for all we need. If they're wanting just an AT&T or a T-Mobile, let them join with one of the other towers out there. That's all I can say about it. It's think about it, because you will be endangering, and that's one of the things that you just told me about what you all say and you do, is you don't want to hurt the neighbors or an existing person. Thank you.
Thank you. I do have one question for you, ma'am, before you go.
Mm-hmm.
Those towers you say you can see,
Yes, I can see it.
what kind of towers are they?
I don't know.
Are they cell phone towers or
Yes, they have to be cell phone towers. There's one right off the old 72, not the new 72. There's one around tiny town of Carlton area.
All right, thank you, ma'am. Anyone else speak in opposition?
Hello.
Yes.
My name is Teresa Ty, and I recently purchased a property at 163 West Street. When I purchased that property, there was no information about a tower going up. I did purchase that earlier this same year, and the reason I purchased that 11 acres was so that I could build a homestead, which was my dream, and finally live in the country with peace and quiet and not cell phone towers. I specifically do not want good coverage. I didn't come here to have better internet connectivity. If I wanted that, I would have stayed in Athens. If people really need or want that desperately, there are plenty of places in this country that have that. There's no shortage of that. And I do understand what the gentleman said about wanting more coverage from T-Mobile, but I also agree with the last speaker who said that I don't see any good reason why they couldn't put their signal collectors on other towers in the area. This is going to lower our property values, the people who actually live in that area. It's going to make it harder for me to resell that land, if that's what I end up deciding to do because of this tower. And I also want to point out this tower is really tall. This is as tall as the Statue of Liberty. It's so tall that it needs 2 sets of lights for the FAA. It's taller than most of the other towers that I've seen. And I think I understand why they want to build a tall tower. I just don't know that it's necessary to build a tower that tall. I also have concerns about possible neurological issues. One of the problems with that is if you build a house, like the house that I'm wanting to build, my dream house that I've saved for years and struggled and really worked hard to get to this point as a single parent. That house that I want to build is going to be right in the fallout zone where it gets the most amount of radiation. I don't know if I'm going to have problems with that medically. It's going to be too late, right? Once the tower is built, it's too late. If I do have problems, if my daughter who's here has problems, if my elderly father who's planning on moving in with us has problems, it's going to be too late for us to know that. And then we're looking at having to sell that property, start all over again, try to relocate somewhere else where there's not cell coverage right next door. It's just a really difficult situation for me personally. You know, I do question why it needs to be such a tall tower also. And I guess that's all I have to say. I'm going to go ahead and sign that.
All right, thank you so much. Anyone else? Please come forward, and if
you run out of room, there's a second
and
page.
I'm looking to hear from as many people as possible, but please, if you have a spokesman that can condense it, please do so.
There's one more thing I forgot to mention, I'm sorry. The other thing I wanted to mention is the actual property owner lives outside of Atlanta, and they're gonna get all the benefits of this. I think it's $2,000 a month, I don't know exactly the amount. And everybody who actually lives there is gonna get no benefit. We're the ones who are gonna end up suffering because of it. So I wanted to find that out.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
I'll be brief. I'm Mark Staley, I'm Eddie's husband. I live in Carlton. I serve on the city council for Carlton. And as everybody here knows, our section of the county is very rural. Not many people. We joke that there are as many buzzards in our section of the county as there are people. So to me, it's nonsense to have such a humongous tower if part of the county, like the library area, needs a better coverage. That's the area that needs to take the burden of a tower. And when you stop and think of a tower 286 feet, you know a football field is 100 yards, 300 feet. So that tower is as long as a football field. And we're in like I say, a rural area, beautiful wooded area near the state park, Washington Mills State Park. So to me, this is totally out of line for what our section of the county needs to see, a monstrosity of 286 feet. Thank you.
Thanks, sir. Anyone else?
I'll just add, I'm also a resident of Carlton.
Your name, please?
Jim Crone. And I also live down the street from the others that have spoken. And the 2 points I would reiterate are for the individuals who are the property owners are not living in the area. And it's a difficult issue for those who do live in this area, in addition to the other fact that was made about the 2 towers that are already in the presence. Why can't we just use those? That would be the other point that I would make.
All right. Thank you, sir. Anyone else? Hearing none, do you have any rebuttal, sir, to what you've heard?
Yes, sir. A couple of things, and let me try and make sure I'm hitting all the points that came up. First of all, the other sheets that I provided you, this one with the green circle, this is a 3-mile radius. If you look in the upper left-hand corner, you'll see 2 orange little pins. And if you look in the bottom right, you'll see another orange, and in the upper right, you'll see an orange. And when they have numbers by them, those are the closest towers to this area. And this circle is 3 miles radius. I'm not sure what they're seeing when they look at towers, but they're not cell towers. This is directly from the FCC database, which tracks all towers. We have to register any tower in the country with the FCC, and I pulled this from the database. So there is no tower in the area. If there was, we would use it. And when I showed the coverage maps with the red, T-Mobile is on these other sites that you're seeing already. T-Mobile's already on those. Those were those other red circles you saw on the map. All right, so we are using all existing towers we can. That is much preferred than building a new tower. Co-locating on existing towers much quicker and much cheaper than going through the process of building a new one. This other aerial I'll show you, again, is from the same FCC database. I just want you guys to see all of the orange pins. This is Madison County. All right, that's outlined in the blue. There are 18 towers, cell towers, already in Madison County. If you look in the bottom right, you'll see the yellow push pin. That's our proposed site. You can see there's no tower within that area. So again, we would use a tower if it was there. There just isn't. With regards to the effects of the tower on nearby properties, let me say this. This is a very innocuous use, right? Yes, it's a structure, but there's no noise associated with it. There's no dust, there's no odor, there's no fumes, and there's no traffic. This is about as innocuous a use as you can have. With regards to the concerns about health effects, I'll let Mike talk to you about that. There's some federal law that kind of puts a kibosh on us discussing that, but I know there may be some concerns. I've got this latest study from the World Health Organization that just came out in 2024, September. I'm happy to leave some of these with you. The World Health Organization, the FDA, which regulates radio towers and radio signals, which is what this is, it's a simple radio signal. There is no negative health concerns from radio signals. And just imagine the number of cell phones that are sitting here in this room right now talking to the nearest cell tower here in Danielsville. All right? So there is no health issues from cell towers. The property values issue came up a couple of times. So whether or not anything diminishes property values on another property, you got to look at the sale price of those parcels and those houses that may be near it. I have 3 studies done in Georgia that I'll be happy to leave copies of with you. I've got all 3 of them here. One was done in Coweta County, one was done in Albany, and one was done in Powder Springs, Georgia. In each case, an appraiser went out, found existing cell towers in those areas, in those cities and in those counties, looked at the sale prices of the homes next to the cell towers and the sale prices of homes further away, and did studies to see what they sold for. And there is no diminution of property values based on the sale of those houses. You look at the sale of a house before the tower goes up and the sale of a house after the tower goes up, and there's no change. I have copies. I'll be happy to hand these out. Again, these are from 3 different areas in Georgia. Just kind of move them around. But just so you can have something that you've relied on that's proof to show there is no diminution in property values from cell towers. Also, a couple of those other towers that I showed you, if you zoom in on those towers, these are in Madison County, you can see, and these are the only copies of these, but I'll be happy to leave them. You can see that, again, just 2 I picked up of those 18 in Madison County, how close they are to existing residences already. But we have to be where the customers are in order to serve them. We can't put a tower a half a mile or a mile away and expect to get coverage in all the directions we need to fill that gap in coverage. And remember, we're trying to follow your ordinance, which says build the fewest towers possible. Again, we're only building to a height we need to fill that significant gap in coverage that you saw on the maps. We're not asking for anything more than that. So if you have any questions, I'll be happy to try and answer.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
All right. I will close the public hearing and entertain any kind of discussion from the board at this point. No discussion? If not, I will entertain a motion to approve, to deny, or to approve with conditions.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir, Mr. Gaddy.
I move we approve.
We have a motion to approve.
And I'll second.
We have a second. Any further questions? All right, we are ready to vote. We will start with Mr. Gandy.
Yes.
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 All right, we have a 5-0 approval. We will recommend to the Board of Commissioners on March the 3rd that this application be approved. I would say, as I said before, to this group of people that oppose this, please show up on that night and you will get an opportunity to tell the commissioners what you want them to know, and the ultimate decision will be theirs. But as of tonight, this board will recommend approval for the application to move forward. With that, we will move to number 1.
This is Kendra McKinney, applicant for Bobby Lee Applin, and she is requesting to rezone his 10.35 acres from A2 to AR, to split the property into 2 tracts, each containing approximately 5 acres, and it's to gift his 2 nieces for home sites. The property is located at 0 Highway 72 East in Comer on map 96, parcel 14-05 in District 5.
All right. Kendra McKinney, would you please come forward and tell us what you want to know? How are you today?
How are y'all?
Good.
Yes, so I am,
And I apologize, that's Kendra.
yes, sir. So yes, acquiring that the land property for, given by my uncle, I believe, Aplin, to be split amongst my sisters. And for me to, purchase one.
All right, is there any questions from the board? Any questions from the
I
board?
think there are several parcels around this property that are family property.
Yes,
Is, by what you're wanting to do, are there any easements or anything that, in order to access those, some of them look like they might be landlocked parcels, but are there easements that will go across your property?
Yes, sir.
To get to them?
Yes,
And you have no problem with that?
no,
Those will need to be on the new plan.
yes.
Any further questions? All right, thank you, ma'am. Okay, we will open the public hearing. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak in favor of this rezone request? Anyone want to speak in favor? Hearing none, is there anyone want to speak in opposition to? Anyone want to speak in opposition? Hearing none, we will close the public hearing. Any discussion from the board? If not, I will entertain a motion to approve, to deny, or to approve with conditions. Motion by Cynthia.
Second.
Second by Lee. Further discussion? If not, Cynthia?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. All right, we have a 5-0 vote to approve. We will present this to the Board of Commissioners and recommend approval. You don't have to be at this next meeting, but I suggest that you do. All right, we'll move on to Ronald St. Clair, number 3.
No, sorry, it's number 2.
I'm sorry, number 2.
That's okay.
I'm getting ahead of myself.
That's all right. Lee Tucker, applicant for Gregory Meadows, is requesting to rezone a 5-acre portion of the 50 acres from A1 to AR to allow it to be split and retained with his existing home. He is selling the remaining 45 acres to Mr. Lee Tucker as a whole, and it will remain in the A1 zone. The property is located at 2620 Colbert Danielsville Road in Danielsville on map 56, parcel 118 in District 2.
All right, Mr. Tucker?
Yes, sir, so I'm Lee Tucker, and, so what we're doing is.
What's your address, sir?
Sorry. So 2620 Colbert Danielsville Road.
Okay.
And, we're just buying this land from Gregory Meadows to be able to build a house. And we're just splitting off like his, so he's got a house and he's just wanting to keep his house, and we're buying his land.
Okay.
Are you buying the 45 acres? Yes, sir.
So you will be utilizing it other than as residence?
No, sir.
And and there is plenty of road frontage as far as being able to access your portion.
Yes, sir.
Are you planning on putting some kind of animals or something like that?
No, ma'am, we're planning on just one house.
Oh, just one house?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, I thought you were splitting it.
So,
You're splitting, you want to split his 5 acres off, and you're gonna do the 45 acres.
yes, ma'am.
Okay. And you're gonna put a house.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Any further questions for the applicant? All right, thank you very much, sir. All right, well, open the public hearing. Is there anyone wants to speak in favor of this rezone request? Hearing none, is there anyone wants to speak in opposition? Hearing none, we will close the public hearing, and I'll bring it back to the board for a vote to approve, or disapprove, or to approve with conditions. I'll make a motion to approve. A motion to approve? Have a second. Any further comments? Yes, not, yes. Okay. Yes.
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 All right, that's a 5-0 vote to approve. We will recommend to the Board of Commissioners that this rezone request be approved. Again, as I stated to the others, you don't have to show for that public hearing, but I recommend that you do, because they may have questions that we don't have. Okay? All right, now number 3.
Okay. Ronald St. Clair is requesting to rezone his 3.41 acres from A2 to R1 to allow the property to be split into 2 equal tracts to retain for 2 home sites. The property is located at 0 Highway 106 South in Hull, map 29, parcel 44. And that is in District 3.
All right, St. Clair?
Good evening, guys. I just live across the street at 962. I'm Ron St. Clair, live at 962 Willis Glen Road, and our business is right down the street at 701 Willis Glen. We have an original chimney, and me and my best friend and business partner are looking to split it up and build 2 houses right there. And then across the street, we'll have a couple of rentals for our guys or any of the employees who want to kind of come up this way. I'm from Athens and love being up in Madison County, and just want to be able to get some more guys up this way and have some more land up there. So.
All right. Any questions for this gentleman?
So you're not gonna live on it, or you gonna live on it?
I am, yes, ma'am.
Okay.
So me and my best friend will both live on it.
Okay, so you have other property, because you said your other employees are gonna come?
I'm living on the property across the street right now, but that's currently in his name, so I'm renting it from him, and then he'll rent the new one across the street. So we're at 962 Willis Glen, and it has 2 plots of land now, and then there's 1 plot across the street. So the house we bought came with 3 different plots of land included in the purchase. So we're looking to split the 1 plot of land into 2 more, so we can have 2 more houses over there and then rent the other 2.
Oh.
Especially that, this is a question for you, they're asking for R1. As far as the comp plan, is this within the character area?
It is consistent with the comp plan.
Show that at the bottom.
Okay, yes, sir, it is in the South Madison character area, and it is consistent with the comp plan.
Okay. Any further questions? All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, we'll open public hearing. And is there anyone who wants to speak in favor of this rezone request? Hearing none, is there anyone who wants to speak in opposition? Hearing none. close the public hearing and bring it back to the board for any further discussion or a motion to approve, to deny, or to approve with conditions.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to move to approve.
Andy? Second. Second by Kenneth. Any further discussion? If not, I believe some, Lee? Lee? Yes.
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 Oh, yes.
Yes. All right, well, 5-0 vote. We will recommend to the Board of Commissioners that this request be approved. Again, you don't have to show up, but please do so.
Okay, thank you.
All right, number 4, Jody Russell.
Yes, J.D. Russell is requesting to rezone his 6.52 acres from A2 to R1 to allow the property to be split into 3 tracts to sell. Property is located at 0 Vineyards Creek Church Road in Comer on 94, parcel 26 in District 4.
All right, Mr. Russell.
My name's Jody Russell. I live at 1118 Double Mart Road in Coleman. We have the 6.52 acres, and we want to go from A2 to R2. So we did a site plan with Tommy Paul to divide it up in what we want to do. And when she said it's sale, I have a picture of 3 different homes here that we want to build. Probably my grandson's going to live in one of them. Can you show them that?
I'm not able to show on here,
Okay.
but we can pass them around.
Okay. I was just expecting feedback.
If you want to hold them up to the audience.
Yeah. So these stick-built homes, won't be mobile homes. There's a lot of small parcels around there already. The land hasn't been farmed, no hay's been cut on in years. The church owns one corner because there are wells on it. There's a family cemetery, 1 acre of it is a hearing private cemetery. And then Vineyards Creek Church is across the road. But basically, I'm so nervous, I don't know what I'm
No need to be nervous, just go ahead and tell us who wants to know.
So it's 6.52, so you got that up there now.
Right.
So that little square is the private cemetery. So 1 home would face Vineyards Creek, 1 home would face Collins Brooks, and then that corner lot that's chopped off, that one would actually face Cherokee because it's the way the land lays. So all the homes would face different ways. When I called Tommy Paul and talked to him about what I wanted to do, I know he's just a surveyor, but I asked him what he saw in the county and what he thought about what he was going to do. And, my original plan was just to build 3 homes and sell them. And, I'm 60 years old, work all the time, and wanted to make money with them. But it looks like my grandson is wanting to do the first one. The bank won't give me the money to build 3 at one time. The only way I can do that is join forces with a builder, a licensed builder that's, already building homes. But I have built 3 homes. I built 3 for myself. 2 of them I personally built, not for anyone else. But the first home, one of them I subbed everything, but 2 of them I personally built. I wouldn't be doing that, I'm too old. So basically, the first home I ever built in my life is the guy that owns Electric Motor Company. His house is on Rock Quarry Road. I built that first drawings of that house in Roswell, Georgia, for the principal of Roswell High School. And, I know what I'm doing, even though I'm not a licensed builder. But the bank could give me a loan for 1 on a construction loan. And we have the money to do 1 home out of our pocket, but we don't want to do that, And so we'll probably build on the corner lot facing Venus Creek towards Charles Lunsford first. And I guess y'all saw all the pictures, right? So that would probably be the first house, if there's anybody opposing it or whatever. But it wouldn't be no mobile homes, because we talked about that. Anything I forget? I'm too nervous. This would probably be the second one, different face. Collins Brooks. And then, this one faced Collins Brooks. And that one would face Cherokee Road. But I wanted to do all three at one time. And, I just can't pull it together. If I join forces with a builder, you know, he's gonna make money with me, you know. But my grandson, he's approved for a loan already, and, he's actually looking at another piece of property. This is what he wants. I mean, I know there's a cemetery, private cemetery there, and I know there's a church across, but I think with the style of homes, and when you look at the homes in the community and so forth, I think somebody here today is wanting to rezone a parcel on, Vineyards Creek. I'm not sure what all was about that, but Debbie would. I just saw it on the agenda thing. But, you know, there's a lot of pieces around. One that I saw that my grandson had looked at, it was 2.45 acres, you know, within a half a mile of there. But anyway, that's all I know to tell you.
All right.
We basically, you know, I did a site plan, and then we did this year, so I won't lose with 1,000, if y'all say that.
All right, so before you go, is there any questions for this gentleman? Bruce?
Yes, sir, and of course, primarily, you know, the ownership of private properties, one of the basic rights in the country, very important. But, also it has to be weigh some of the, factors for other people and what the effect will be on the county as a whole.
What in my DQ?
Yes, we also have to take not only your rights as an individual into effect, but also what's good for the county.
People in the community.
Yes, exactly.
Did you visit the property?
Yes.
Everybody here visited?
I don't know if everyone did, but you know.
And you're District 4? So you saw?
Very familiar with it, yes, sir.
Okay. So basically, you gotta take everything into consideration. But you know, if it's agriculture right now, what if I go over and put up a chicken recycling plant, you know, like all the farmers are doing, all the farms, all gravel to. They're bagging it up and shipping it out. But it has, I'm not trying to be rude, I'm just saying, you know, it's beautiful homes, and, you know, my words are cheap, and, you know, but if you had that there and you got small parcels all up down the road and everywhere, that land's not gonna be farm. I mean, look at it, what you gonna grow out there?
It's got a strange topography of it, for sure.
Do what?
It's got strange topography, it's kind of up and down.
And the church don't use well. I told them I'd drill them well for the piece of property. Well, it turns out that's a board well, and they do use the one across the road.
I have another question. How long have you owned this property?
I bought it from Rufus here in, less than a year.
Okay, now, are you aware of the county has a comprehensive plan, kind of looking at vision towards the future?
Okay, so I'm not aware exactly, but I do know that some regulations are changed, and this was the last meeting or whatever, but I don't know if that's something that's coming up or something I already had in effect.
You know, we as a planning and zoning, we've got some guidance in terms of comprehensive plan.
Yeah.
And as you know, there's character areas, which we're trying to, you know, in consonance with what the people want, we want to maintain the rural aspect of the area.
But even the nice homes across the road, they're close. I mean, they're really close to one another. I haul all of them gravel. I've been in every one of them's house. I don't personally know them, but I've been in all those houses within the last 7 or 8 years. Good people. I didn't talk to nobody except Mike Lunsford, and he said he didn't care what it is because he wanted to do something in the neighborhood too, or something like that, you know. But he called me. I didn't call him. But I don't know. It sounds like you're leaning toward no, but you know, land's high. I mean, and my grandson, he can't go out here and just buy anything. And he's got Papa to help. And I have other grandkids. I don't have enough land for all of them, but he's the oldest.
I appreciate that.
I don't know.
I appreciate your comments.
I mean, I know my property I live on, Peter Tinkling years ago, I think that's the reason zoning got started in Madison County. He had 7.5 acres with little narrow, long, you know, and, I had 3.86 acres. And, my mom, she had the front, she passed away and was sold. But I know y'all got regulations so forth to go by. As far as anything being small, I know it's more corner size lot, you know, like Seymour's doing and so forth. But I don't know.
All right.
I think it would be a good place to do these homes.
Can I ask you a question, Bruce?
Yes, sir.
All
But
right.
I mean, for a sale, I don't want to sell just a lot. You know what I mean?
Any further questions from the board? No questions, okay. I just have a comment, so I don't know how the board's gonna vote, have no idea. But when these things come before us, we have to look at several things. We have to look at the comp plan, we have to look at the zoning ordinances, we have to look at the surrounding area. We're taking a lot of things in consideration. A lot of folks think it's just the comp plan. It's not just the comp plan. It's a lot of consideration that this board has to consider. So, and they do that before they ever take a vote. Okay?
You say all y'all visited the site?
Yes.
So y'all saw how close the homes are, and how nice the ones across the street?
That's what we're required to do.
These would be.
That's part of our job.
These won't have a garage or anything like that.
All right, any further questions for this gentleman from the board? All right, thanks, sir. All right, with that, we will open the public hearing. Is there anyone wants to speak in favor?
Oh, go ahead, I'm sorry. I did have something about the opposition.
Okay, yeah, we'll get to that first. In favor of this particular rezone request? Anyone speak in favor? Hearing none, and we will move to the opposition portion. Before I ask you to come up, I think Ms. Tracy has some letters that she may want to read. I think most of us probably got them, but we want to hear them.
Okay, I received 2 emails that contain letters of opposition to the rezone. The first one was from a gentleman, well, it's the Vineyards Creek community, and it says, "Dear Planning and Zoning Board members, this letter is regarding Jody Russell's request to rezone 0 Vineyards Creek Church Road from A2 to R1 and the community's opposition to the rezoning request. He recently purchased 6.52 acres at 0 Vineyards Creek Church Road, which he wants to rezone and split into 3 separate parcels for resale. He states that the rezone request does not meet the current Madison County Comprehensive Plan." And then there was literature noted that it is an A2 zone, and then what the R1 zone is for. And then it says, "According to the current land use map, our area falls within the A2 zone, which is agricultural, low-density residential. There is no medium to high residential areas approximately within a 5-mile radius of 0 Vineyards Creek Church Road. Attached is the current Madison County land use map. The property owner should have practiced due diligence when purchasing the mentioned property. When applying for rezoning, the property owner was informed that his request to the rezone his property from A2 to R1 did not meet the Madison County's comprehensive plan. He advised that he still wanted to proceed with the attempt to rezone. Part of the property in question would likely have to be built up to build a home on that parcel. This can result in increased water pooling to another neighbor's property after a heavy rain. This could also result in soil erosion, which could cause damage to the road that separates the 2 properties." And it goes on to say The attached picture shows the current results of pooling from recent rain. Another concern is having more wells bored or drilled in the area with the potential to affect the current wells in the community. There have been at least 3 wells that have gone dry within the past 15 years within the immediate vicinity of the 3 parcels Mr. Russell wishes to rezone. The community respectfully requests that the Planning and Zoning Board of Madison County deny the zoning request of Mr. Russell in keeping with the current comprehensive plan of Madison County, Georgia. And it is signed Vineyards Creek Community, and there are 14 signatures attached to this matter.
Who
All right.
said that we had to state when we walk up? Who?
Sir,
Mm-hmm.
we will, not entertaining questions at this point.
Okay, and then the second, letter of
Can I ask
opposition.
a question?
No, sir, not at this point.
Well, you
I
said
will
when somebody,
allow you to come
you
up.
said when somebody comes up, they're supposed to state their name and who they are.
You
I
don't want me to-
understand, you will have a chance to rebuttal after I get through with this portion of it.
Right, okay.
Okay? All right.
If you're gonna read the letter, you might as well read the name.
Okay, I'll go ahead and read those names out.
Well, I'm talking about who wrote it. I don't know who wrote it.
Well, it's just signed, Vineyards Creek Community, but it was emailed by Derek Brown.
And I'm the spokesperson for Vineyards Creek Community. My name is Beth Army.
Ladies and gentlemen, you will have an opportunity to speak in rebuttal. Sir, you will have an opportunity to speak in rebuttal. You will have an opportunity to speak in opposition. At this point, we're listening to the letters, and then I will give you an opportunity to speak. So please wait until that time occurs.
All right, those signatures, they're handwritten, so I'm gonna try to make sure I can see. Some of them are kind of messy, but, the first is Kelly Cole, Beth Harmon, Mike Lunsford, Nancy Lunsford, Charles Lunsford, Karen Welchel, looks like it's LLC, Whitehall, Tanya Bancroft, Linda Threkel, James Threkel, there's a signature I cannot make out, Diane Brown, McKinley Brown, and there's also another signature that's beyond recognizable. So that is all for this letter. There was another letter submitted to me by our Commissioner for Brian Kirk that he received from Tanya Bancroft, and the letter reads, Dear Mr. Kirk, it is with great concerns that I write this letter concerning the property located at 0 Vineyards Creek Church Road. The property is currently zoned A2. Mr. Jody Russell has purchased the property and wants to rezone the property to R1. The foremost reason for my strong concerns is because I have been an educator in the Madison County school system for 29 years, and our school system takes pride in our agricultural community. I'm sure you are aware of the current construction of the Madison County Ag Facility. The facility will provide the students of Madison County with agricultural education experiences and allow for the promotion of ag resources within the county. We are in the process of providing this wonderful resource to help further our students in the knowledge of agriculture, but let's think of their future as well. Where will they use their ag skills if there's not any available ag land in Madison County? If they do not have family land, they will more than likely look outside of our county to purchase land they need to farm. It is a shame that our county is providing a fantastic facility, resources, and educators just to see the future of our county have to be searched outside of the county to farm. I received a bachelor's degree in animal science from UGA in 1991. I moved to Madison County and worked at Comer Vet Clinic until I decided to go back to college to work on my teaching degree. Even though I teach pre-K and previously taught kindergarten, I value teaching my students about ag and farm animals. I take pride in our ag community and the products produced locally. I raise my own chickens for egg consumption and value the small plot I purchased in 2017, which is located across the street from where Mr. Russell wants to rezone. He splits this property into 3 separate tracts to sell. He will definitely make money and 3 homes could be built, but this community will lose another tract of land zoned for agricultural use. My other concern is for our own community. Vineyards Creek is a quiet community in which neighbors value and respect each other and their well-being. I urge you to think about what structures can be built on this beautiful land and if it is rezoned. I do not want to look out my door at mobile homes, and quite honestly, I want neighbors that value our community. If this property must be rezoned, I implore you to ask for stick-built homes and help improve our community. Signed, Tanya Bancroft.
Who?
Is that all?
Tanya Bancroft.
I can't hear you.
Tanya Bancroft.
Is that all?
Yes.
All right. So anyone who speak in opposition to this rezone request? Yeah, ma'am. Please come forward, state your name, and tell us what you want to see.
Hi, my name is Beth Harmon. I am a representative for the Vineyards Creek community, the letter that she just read. I live at 205 Cherokee Road, which is next to the church. I live on 2 acres there. The house that's there was my great-grandfather's. It was built, and it's on 2 acres. My daughter, Kelly Cole, she owns the trailer in the back, which is 5 acres. I originally lived there, but I had to have 5 acres to move a trailer back there to take care of my mother. I'm concerned with that tract of land because of the way it lays. The road dips on the Cherokee side like this to go back up to Vineyards Creek. It also dips around on Collins Brook. The pictures that Ms. Patrick has is Mr. Jim Threlkel. That's probably one of the signatures you couldn't read. Water pools up there from the lay of the land. So that means a lot of dirt's going to have to be brought in because that parcel in the center dips. So it's going to have to be built. We have no amenities out there. We have no fire hydrants. I'm concerned about my well and my daughter's well. If we add more people, the church has functions out there which sometimes takes up a lot of water, weddings, funerals. The church did say something about buying that tract, put a parking lot on, but I don't think they wanted to pay what Mr. Herring was asking, who was the original property owner. The 2-acre tracts that Mr. Russell's talking about is mostly family land. A lot of that land down that is right there, the one Miss Bancroft lives in across the street, was my grandmother's house. It was sold when my aunt passed away after she got it. It's just been cut down. What's next to me is 75 acres, which belongs to my uncle, Mr. Webster Grady Threlkel. He just keeps it in hunting land and forest. The tract behind me, which is another 20-something acres, which did belong to my mother, was passed down to my brothers. And the gentleman, and I can't remember his name, that bought it has cows back there. So everything around us is agricultural. I raise goats on my little acres. I have chickens for my own consumption. And I'm just concerned, and it'll make my taxes go up for these homes to be built. I'm sure they're beautiful. But what's going to happen to my 1900 house that's 960 square feet? How are my taxes going to be affected by that? And I'm just really concerned about the water table, soil and erosion, and the traffic. It's very, very quiet out there. And I've lived there since 2010. And I'm just representing all the people around there that are just really opposed to it for the concerns that I've just mentioned. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, you're representing, or is there anyone else that would like to speak in opposition? All right, thank you so much. All right, we will close the public hearing and bring it back to the board for any further discussion. Oh, yes, rebuttal, I'm sorry. Please forgive me.
Oh, that's fine, I'm so nervous, I can't tell.
All right.
All right, so I'm just made a few little scratch notes. But, first off, she's to the right of the church where my mother's buried. The church all my life. Charles Lunsford cut my hair across the road since I was a baby. Know everybody about it. Bought the property from Rufus Herod, which is, we're related. So right there, she said she had 5 acres, 2 homes on it. She said it, 2 homes. But right here across the Collins, Brooks Road, there's one well, it kind of goes off of Cherokee, but there's a house, and that property comes down, and then there's a house, and a house. So if I'm not mistaken, there's 3 homes on Collins Brooks, and you can see, I don't know the footage on that total roadfront right there, but there's 3 homes right there. It's not farmland. Nobody's farming. Somebody might have a chicken in the yard. My grandson will too. All right, as far as the wells, I drill wells for Franklin Fortune. Miss Francis logged me in over 500 wells that she sent to the state that I drill. We have to log each well for state. The well, so I know water. The well at the church is 180 foot deep. All the wells around there are good. There's no problem with no wells. Anybody's well to pump bank with. The wells has been, went dry the past 3 years, but probably 40 wells. You know, you get water at the surface. That wouldn't affect anything. All right? As far as beautiful land, those houses right there across the road are beautiful. Charles is old, hers is old, the trailer behind it. You go up the street right there, all those look like rental property. All right? The dirt, as far as the erosion, y'all hear this all the time. Oh, so we got a erosion problem, we got a water problem. Water's gonna run whichever it goes. There is, right here, there is a piece of pipe under the road, and the water does go down that way. It's gotta go somewhere. As far as dirt being brought in, there wouldn't be no grading, none whatsoever. Put septics and footings and there's no grading. You know, this home right here will face this one here face this way, and that one face that way. And then, I can't read my own scribbling. All right, so, how big are the tracks across on Collins Brooks? How big is those lots? That's what I, should have pulled up. All right, now go back to the people in the community on that. Okay, you're in District 4? You go to church at Vineyard? No. Okay, so it sounds like Vineyard's contacted me and wanted to buy the property. I got a text today. It sounds like that all these people here, I'm just guessing at this, is the church people, Vineyard Creek Church. I haven't attended church there in years. But it sounds like that's all of them, to sign the thing. They probably got together and said, look, we're gonna make this happen. If they don't want to sell it to us, And I did give them a price on it. Is that right there?
That's, yours is highlighted in black here.
Okay. All right, so see mine's highlighted in black. Mine's bigger, but look, small. That's the church here, correct? I can't tell what the church is. But look at all these parcels right here. I know, and those are mobile homes. Look at all these right here. All right, I'll hush. There's no water well problem. There's no grading to be done. The property, the reason I brung that one line down to that corner was to, gain access from that spot, but after Tommy Paul did it, I was kinda wishing he hadn't, because, you know, you couldn't put a driveway over there. So right here, well, that's the actual. So right here, where we bring it down, I told him to do that 40 foot in case you want to drive. If his house was faced this way, all this down here is downhill. You know, I would love to like put a line from here across, but I had to get 2.27. That's Tommy's, you know, from him surveying land every day, it was his best way to divide it up. But, you know, I can only do one home at a time. Yes. And I don't want to sell just the property. I would rather sell the whole tract of property to the church. But, you know, I'm not going to budge on my price.
Okay. Well, sir, just so you know, this group will take what all you said, what all the opposition has said, they'll take it into consideration, make their recommendation. Again, we're on the recommending body, so you'll have another opportunity to present on March the 3rd to the Board of Commissioners for this year and that.
But if there's nay, it's really a dead end here. In all.
No, sir.
In reality.
They
you
have,
saw it change.
no, sir, they have the final say.
So if I got a lawyer,
I cannot get into their head.
Yeah.
I cannot tell you
if I got a lawyer,
or
can
whatever.
I bring that to the next meeting?
Yes, sir. You can bring whatever you want to the next meeting.
Like I say, I've been to everybody's house around there, and I've done everything, all good people, but, you know, don't nobody want to, that's beside him, don't nobody want to change, you know what I mean?
All right, sir. Thank you. Thank you very much. All right, we'll close the public hearing and bring it back to the board. Do you have any further discussion, comment?
This is one we've all struggled with, I mean, 100%, as we change and look at it. I'm not gonna say I'm excited about, but whenever we get a rewrite of the zoning ordinance, I think this definitely speaks to what it is that we need. Good, bad, or indifferent, it just needs to be brought up, because in '94, everybody got to pick what their zoning was, and so that's some of what it is that we have here before us now. And I do not like, I echo Bruce, I don't like telling anybody what they can do with their own land. That's disingenuous. But at the same time, I volunteer my time, sir, to go out and invest and look at and what is around, and then what projecting forward with the comp plan being one of those tools looking at, and that's how I arrived at mine. So I thank you for everything and everybody that spoke here this evening.
I just want to make a comment about, what Bruce said about our comprehensive plan. And, you're right, that is one of the tools we look at, and you're correct, there are several 1 acre lots, 2 acre lots, 2.89, there are several ones around me. And, they now have a company that's looking at revising, and that may be one of the things to go back to the AR 2 acre lots. Because there's a lot of non-conforming acre lots around there that you're talking about.
When did that law change?
Sir, please. The public hearing is closed. Okay? I understand that you have comments and you have questions, but this is not the time to do it. It's up upon this board now to make a decision, to approve, deny, and then you can come back to the Board of Commissioners. But at this point, it's closed to the public.
But I will answer your question, 5/1/23. That's
What
what
now,
it is.
23?
5/1/23.
Okay, so I was misunderstood. I thought it was after this
So,
board meeting is went on.
well, no, I'm just saying that they are, I'm sorry. But anyway, they're revisiting, and hopefully they'll see that one of the recommendations might go back to 2 acres. But that's, you're correct, there is a lot of acreage that is non-conforming.
All right, any other comments on the board?
I'm just kind of, once again, I know that this is called the spot zoning. R1 just doesn't fit with agricultural that if we go to, AR, I mean, there'd be no problem with this.
Right.
I mean, this is the perfect AR home site. And if that was a request for the rezone, I'd be all over that. I don't know about the, separating in the three of these spots.
Well, the problem is, Bruce, you know, it has to be 4 acres at this point. Hasn't changed, so he couldn't put 3 homes there, even if it was. But then you went to AR, you can only have one house, you know, so.
Which is essentially the present zoning that would admit that as well.
And we have to go by what we presently have, not what we may have. We may have something different 2-3 months from now. I don't know, because we've hired some folks to rewrite our zoning orders. But at this point, we have to do what is on the books at this point. So, if there's no more comments, I'll close, I'll ask for a vote, or ask for a motion to approve, to deny, or to approve with conditions. It's up to you.
Mr. Chairman, I make a
Yes,
motion
sir.
to deny this request.
All right, Mr. Smith, a motion to deny. Second to Lee. Any questions or comments? All right, I think it's on you, Smith.
Yes.
Yes.
I have to say yes, but I hope they revisit that AR to 2 acres.
Yes. Yes. All right, sir, this request has been denied. We will recommend to the Board of Commissioners that this be denied. But we are a recommending board only. So please show up on the March the 3rd. You can show up with any kind of documentation, whatever you want to present. But it will come before the Board of Commissioners, who has the final say.
How many years?
5.
Oh, 5 to deny.
5 to deny.
Okay, I tell y'all what, this is what I feel.
Sir, the public hearing's over.
Okay. You can kiss my ass, long as all y'all.
Scott,
we need you. Scott, we need you. I'm on out the door.
Scott, we need you.
Come on, baby. I won't be back. There'll be dump trucks and junk down there tomorrow. It'll be coming in. Let's go.
All right, moving on, Gary Harvard.
Okay. Gary Harvin, applicant for Betty Hanley, is requesting to rezone a 4.377 acre portion of her 86.14 acres from A1 to AR to be split with her existing home to be retained. The remaining acreage will remain in the A1 zone. Property is located at 9836 Nowhere Road in Hull on map 28, parcel 18 in District 1.
Now, does any of these need to be combined, or Gary?
No, sir, they
All separate, okay.
How are y'all tonight? Gary, Gary Harvin, 7747 Highway 172, Cumberland, Georgia. Family is splitting the property into 3 tracts. We were able to keep all the remaining property in A1, but of course, to be able to separate the parents' house, we had to request to go to an AR zoning. So, if y'all have any questions, I'd be glad to answer.
Any questions?
The 81 acres, as I understand it, will be split at some point into 25-acre tracts.
3 tracts. Yeah, I think each
All
one's,
remaining
yeah, we were able to meet the requirements of A1 for the remaining property, yes, sir.
Any questions? All right, thank you. We'll open the public hearing, and if anyone wants to speak in favor of this rezone request? Hearing none, anyone want to speak in opposition? Anyone want to speak in opposition? Hearing none, we'll close the public hearing, and we'll bring it back to the board for any further comments, and I will entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve.
Well, motion to approve?
Second that, Mr.
Have a motion to second. Any further questions? All right, Bruce, I believe it's on you. Yes?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
All right, Harvard will recommend to the Board of Commissioners if they approve. Thanks, sir. All right, number 6, Gary and Stephanie Harvard.
Okay.
You wanna do those together?
Well, they're different property owners. The other one is under Jonathan Howe, but they do go hand in hand, but since they're different property owners.
Well, I think what we've done is it is the same applicant, not brother the owner, because, you know, the property owners, it may be contingent on the same.
I don't have any problem, I think one doesn't go without the other.
Right.
Okay, so
They
you
kind of
brother
work hand in hand, yes.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Okay, so you're taking that as one.
Do you have any further comments on it?
All right, I'll go ahead and read those,
Okay.
statements here. Gary and Stephanie Harvin are requesting to rezone a .0566 acre portion of their 12.26 acres from A1 to A2 to allow it to be absorbed as added road frontage for adjoining property that's map 93, parcel 46D, and the remaining acreage will be absorbed in his adjoining A1 property, which is map 93, parcel 46B. Property is located at 0 Highway 172 in Comer on map 93, parcel 46A in District 4. And then the second part of this is Gary Harvin, applicant for Jonathan House, is requesting a dual rezone for his 20.12 acres from A1 to A2 and AR. He is requesting to rezone a 4-acre portion from A1 to AR to split, and is requesting to rezone a 10.02 acre portion from A1 to A2 to split, and the remaining 6.10 acres will be absorbed into the A1 adjoining property on map 93, parcel 46B. Property is located at 8217 Highway 172 in Comer on map 93, parcel 46B in District 4.
Okay. Gary?
Sure, I win the award for the most complicated case tonight.
Yes, sir. You absolutely.
Apologize for that. I don't have a global view of what we're doing out there. I would say 5 years ago, we purchased 112 acres from a neighbor during COVID. At that time, we really had to let that neighbor dictate where they wanted the boundary lines to go, just to be able to get the property purchased, to be able to keep it in the ag that's in right now. So Mr. House has decided after 4 years that he would like to sell his house, and they're relocating back to Oconee County. They approached me to sell the land that we are running cattle on. So we are absorbing 6 acres, and we're basically jumping through a lot of hoops to keep the grass that we're running on with a well that's functioning on it right now for our cattle. And by doing that, that property will remain in A1. Yeah, you've got one there. Okay. So, yeah. There we go. This may simplify it. So basically, the green area we're buying from Mr. House, which automatically sparked us to have to rezone the yellow parcel from A1 to A2 to come into conformance. Ever since this property's been split 5 years ago, there's been this area left on the right side of the driveway. Our intention was to zone it from A1 to AR and put it on a 4-acre tract. This tract will actually have a separate driveway off of Highway 172. We'll not use the driveway that's going to the home that's there. I mean, with the lot the way it is right now, I don't see how the lot could ever be split in the future. The 31-foot that is shown on the triangle that was on the other screen is us giving them frontage to put the 10-acre tract in conformance. So if I didn't break that down good enough, I'd be glad to answer any other questions. It's very creative, but we're trying to save what we're operating on right now, and this is just a piece of the puzzle.
All right, any questions for Gary on this particular?
I do apologize again for your time.
We'll work on it on the first of the month, so.
Yeah.
We've heard it before. So,
Okay.
Any questions?
Wow.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right. All of you that absorb all of that, we'll go up to the public hearing. If anyone wants to speak in favor of this rezone? Hearing none, if there anyone wants to speak in opposition to this rezone? Hearing none, I'll close the public hearing and bring it back to the board for a motion.
I'll make a motion, we approve number 6 and number 7.
A motion to approve number 6 and number 7 together.
I'll second.
Second, by Kenneth. Any questions or comments? All right, Cynthia, Bruce, I guess. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
I'm not voting on this.
Oh, sorry, yes. All right, we have 1 to abstain and we have a 4-0 to recommend approval.
Mark, thanks for your time.
All right. Number 8, Bert Rodriguez.
Bert Rodriguez, applicant for Freddie Godoy Acevedo, is requesting to rezone this 5 acres from A2 to R1 to split the property into 3 equal tracts containing approximately 1.66 acres to sell. Property is located at 1822 Shoal Creek Road in Colbert on Mount 59, parcel 96J in District 5.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Good evening. My name is Freddie Godoy, and I own the property 1822 Shoal Creek Road in Colbert, and he's my partner.
My name is Luis Rodriguez. I'm Freddie's partner, and we are here tonight requesting to rezone these 5 acres property with an existing mobile home on the property to be split on 3 equal pieces. And our intention is to either build 2 houses or 2 brand new mobile homes to resale.
All right, anything else? All right, board, you have any questions for these gentlemen? Yes, sir.
There is enough road frontage on the property. It's a corner property with a lot of road frontage. On one side, there is 580 feet road frontage. And the other side, which is Shoal Creek, is 263.
I ask you, what's gonna persuade you stick home or mobile? Because I do live in this area.
Well, we just don't know what we're gonna do yet. We might just sell these empty lots. Or, is that what your question?
Well, yeah, I was wondering which is gonna persuade you. Is it gonna be, what's gonna persuade you to put big houses there or
a mobile home, yeah. It depends on the county, I guess. We would love to build a house, not a mobile home.
So,
that's our first option, a house.
well, I guess the county, you could put either one.
Yeah.
So.
Our first option is a house. Yeah. But that's our plan.
Do y'all live in the trailer zone property now?
No,
Is it occupied now?
it is empty at the moment. We're working on it. Okay. We're modeling.
And that existing home will remain there, and you'll do two others.
Yes,
Okay.
So you live in Madison?
no, I live in Overflow County. He lives in Clarkson.
Oh.
I live in Colbert.
I live in Colby.
Yeah, it's about 3 minutes away from that property. I'm in Overflow.
Any further questions? No, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
We appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
All right, we will open the public hearing. If anyone wants to speak in favor of this rezone request? Anyone wants to speak in opposition to this rezone request? If not, we will close the public hearing. One comment, this is an R1, and I know there's a lot of you hear about R1s, but this is in the character area of the complex. So, I'll bring it back to the board, and I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move to be approved.
Have a motion to approve?
I'll second.
Have a second. You think you have conditions? Well, now, let's, either say or not. Okay. We have a motion to approve and a second. Any questions? Comments? All right, Ken, Cynthia?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
All right, it's 5-0 to, we'll recommend to the Board of Commissioners to approve. I do request that you come on the 3rd and present your case to the Board of Commissioners.
Hopefully you go
Thank
to
you,
the
sir.
6th.
Thank you.
All right, Ruben?
Reuben Borza is requesting to rezone a 12-acre portion of his 83.80 acres from A1 to AR to allow it to be split into 3 4-acre tracts. The remaining 71.80 acres will remain in the A1 zone. Property is located at 0 Highway 98 West in Danielsville on map 11, parcel 94-04 in District 1.
All right, Mr. Broussard, please come forward. Name and address and tell us what you want us to know.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My name is Ruben Borza. I live at 2945 Winston Park Lane, Decatur, Georgia. I like to split. I own the land, the entire tract. I like to take like 3 different tracts out of it, 4 acres each. And I would like to either build a house on the lots, on the future lots, or sell it to. I have some neighbors that are interested to buy it. So at this point, I'm not decided 100% what I'm going to do, but at this point, I just wanted to split.
All right. Questions?
Yes, what's your, plans for the future?
As I just said, am I going to put a house over there?
No,
or
the future, remaining acres, what's your?
Oh, remaining, okay, the 71 acres?
Yeah.
That'll be my retirement land. And right now, I'm trying to keep it as clean as possible. I have cows over there, because I want Fitzpatrick McGee to be a nice looking area, so.
Well, the reason I was asking, I know 2 or 3 years ago, you rezoned.
Correct.
You got smaller tracts of land and you're coming back. Is in the future, you gonna try to redo it, put a subdivision in there, make it a subdivision?
No subdivision, sir, no. No subdivision. Even right now, if I'm putting, it's gonna be like estate homes, the one that I built was like 4,300 square feet. The other one was like around 3,500. I'm putting beautiful homes. I don't want that area to be, with small homes,
Any further questions? I believe, was this Sean, you had comments on?
Yeah.
Questions, right? Okay.
I'm thinking. I know, if I remember correctly, 3 years ago, since these are similar, this one is similar to the one that you submitted 3 years ago where you split off 3 lots. Now you're wanting to split off 3 more lots. What's your reason for doing it that way? And I agree with what's in it for the future. You know, do you stop here? Do you keep going with lots in the future? You know, another 3 years and then you're gonna do 3 more lots? What's your plan? What's your long range?
Well, I'm not planning to put a subdivision because I don't believe in that. I live in subdivision. I want to move out of there. That's why I bought this land here. To be honest, I don't think I want to split anymore, you know, because I want to keep it for myself. Even though when I purchased this land, I was disappointed because there was a chicken farm built right next to me and I didn't know. So right after I purchased it, they start building it. If I would have known, maybe I would not be getting it. But here I am right now, so I'm doing the best I can.
Let me ask you this.
Yes, sir.
If your plan is that this will be your future, your retirement, and
Yes, sir.
that you don't have any more plans for split, how would you feel that if we made a condition of this rezone that it not be split anymore?
I don't know if I'm understanding. I mean, are you going to be like a ban for splitting anymore? That's what I mean.
Yes, that's what he's asking.
That would be a condition on these rezones to not split it anymore. Mike, is that fair?
To not split for 71 acres?
Yeah. My concern here is it is permissible to have 3 splits, and it not fall into major subdivision requirements. Now, you're wanting to do this for a second time.
3 splits, I'm sorry, 3 splits, you mean like 1 time 3 lots or 3 times splitting 3 lots every time?
You can have 4 lots, counting the parent parcel. Anything over that is considered a major subdivision, meaning that you've got to meet a lot of requirements. And my concern here is that you've split off 3 already, you're wanting to do 3 more. If you do 3 more after this, while it may not be called a major subdivision, you're not applying for a major subdivision, it looks and feels like a major subdivision. And that's my concern, is that you're creating a major subdivision by circumventing major subdivision application.
I don't see how a condition is necessary because that property remains a 1, which is what, a 25 acre minimum now? So there's 71 acres there, so actually you could only get 2, he can only cut it into 2. He doesn't have, he didn't need 75 to cut it into 3. For more splits like this would require another rezone. So there's already a restriction on that without having to place a condition on it. Unlike some situations we have where you may, rezone something to RR that's 12 acres and you want to condition it in 2 splits rather than 3. This one you already have control of because it would already require another zoning action. That makes sense?
Well, the way I'm hearing that, Mike, is that if he got to come back for another rezone, but it doesn't mean that it will be denied even at that point. It's
right.
Still,
and of course, conditions can be changed as well, but what I'm recalling is when you've had those conditions on a number of splits, it's because the resulting parcel could be split without another rezone action unless you put that condition on it. That's not the case here, other than the 71 could be split into one of no less than 25 acres and the remainder of, whatever 71 minus 25 is off the top of my head. So, yeah, I know. See what I'm saying?
the condition is not required. Basically, you say.
Not unless you want to prevent a split of even 25 acres.
Any more questions for this gentleman? Thanks, sir.
Thanks, sir.
All right, we'll open the public hearing. Does anyone wants to speak in favor of this rezone? Anyone want to speak in favor? Hearing none. Anyone wants to speak in opposition? Yes, sir. Name and address, please.
My name is Dale Allington, live at 857 McGee Fitzpatrick Road. I'm speaking for, well, basically everybody that owns property around Mr. Borger on all sides. And we've had that, our concern's the same thing that you were looking at, he's come in and split it. We've heard rumors he's gonna split it again and again and again, and that's what I think he's gonna do. That's what everybody thinks he's gonna do. He's just doing it at a small amount at a time. Everybody here is against it. It's a rural area. It's a really nice community. Mr. Borza doesn't live in the community. He has no ties to it whatsoever. It's a business adventure for him. You know, I moved from Beaufort when this came in, the same thing. I moved up here where tractors block the road, which is what I like. We want to keep it rural as it can get. Some of the people here are out of the community that are not, when I say out of the community, out of the people that surround there that were here. They may want to speak for me. I'm trying to cut some of this down.
All right.
So we had some of that. So there's about 4 or 5 people here that surround him that are all against him. If you're going to stand up, say anything they can, or if you don't, that's fine too.
We'll give them an opportunity if they just want to
Sign
say
in.
I did.
Oh, okay, thank you.
My name's Bill Sarton, and I'm going to speak in opposed to it because, if I understand right, he applied for a subdivision first, or to split it like a subdivision. Is that correct? No? So he just, okay. And then I was under the impression that he built the first house up on 98, claiming he was going to live in it. Then he sold it, which is his prerogative. But I think if this is approved, it's going to set a bad precedent. I built houses for years, and I've got close to 200 acres just right behind it, go up the Jotham Down Road. So, in 3 or 4 years, can I split mine up like that and just have a little subdivision, a piece at a time? I don't think that's what the zoning needs to be done for. And, you know, like I say, I've built houses for years. I'm also a farmer. But I think you're going to be setting a bad precedent if this is approved to do this like he's doing it. Now, if he wants to have a subdivision, let him get a subdivision approved. But this is a mini subdivision. That's the way I see it. And I don't think it ought to be done.
All right, sir. Thank you very much. Anyone else?
Hey, my name is Wes Bridges. I live at 477 McGee Fitzpatrick Road. I've been there 55 years. When I went there, it was a dirt road, and all you could see was soybean fields and cattle. I believe Mr. Boers is trying to slow walk the subdivision. Granted, he's building a nice house. They're selling for around $750,000. That's going to drive my property taxes up. And like I said, he has no ties to the community. And I just, like I said, y'all don't set a precedent for bad. Thank you. I'm sorry.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Hello, my name is Daniela Borza, and I would like to introduce myself as the tie to your community. Let me just answer a quick question. There will never be...
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
Are you speaking in opposition?
I'm speaking in opposition of the opposition. Just hear me out.
No. This is the time we speak in opposition. I will give Mr. Borza a rebuttal time. but we can't allow this. Okay? Anyone else will speak in opposition?
Yeah, I'm Aaron Bridges. I reside at 351 McGee Fitzpatrick Road. I could go and say the same things people in opposition just said. I just want to give my input. My biggest fear is property tax going up, what it might do to our water table with more houses coming in. Just, I won't waste everybody's time. I just want to be in opposition of it too.
All right, thank you, sir.
Thank
you. Anyone else? Anyone else? Mr. Bowser, you have a chance to rebuttal, or you can have your wife do it, or what? We can have a rebuttal at this point. Now, ma'am.
Just to answer some questions, there will never be a subdivision put in. Even if we could afford something like that, that is against what we believe in. And let's just get that out on the table. I'm sorry, I just feel rude speaking with my back, but I'll speak to you all.
Yes, and that's who you need to speak to.
Okay. I just want to take 30 seconds of your time because I want to share something that happened that was very disrupting, and that's why I came here tonight, okay? First of all, if my husband was to put a chicken plant, which we all have to tolerate the smells, a plant which we have to tolerate hazardous material, traffic, lower property property values, I would understand and I would applaud all these people for taking their evening to come out here and talk. But the sad part is that these people are here all because of hate. And I'm not putting up with that. So 30 seconds, I'm going to tell you who I am. I was born in Romania. My dad escaped when I was 6 months old. We didn't know if he was alive until I was 2 because we could have got put in prison. I came when I was 2. We had to pay $2,000, which is $20,000 now back then, just to leave the country, and they stripped us of our citizenship. I grew up in this country, and I'm an American citizen. I worked hard. I graduated top of class a year early, and I went down the road to Piedmont College. That's where I got my bachelor's degree in nursing, my minor in history and psychology. Ruben, he came when he was 21 with a backpack. 6 months away from graduating with his engineering degree, he got accepted to Georgia Tech to finish it off when his brothers, he has a big family, says, "Can't help us get out of here too." And that's what he did. And that's why he's wearing dusty boots, because he works for a living. We all do. None of you all care where we're from, what our names are. We have 3 kids, 2 of them are at Toccoa Falls students. My middle child is 16 and she's a full-time student at Toccoa Falls. Okay? But that's what's sad is that all you all know my husband to be is a Romanian. And how do I know this? I have the recording, and I don't mind putting it at this microphone, but you don't want to hear it because it's vulgar. Let me just finish, please.
Ma'am, please.
Just a second,
Okay.
please.
This is a rebuttal
I know, but just,
to what they
Yes.
have presented. That has nothing
Yes,
to
it
do
does,
with your family.
because my neighbor to the right, which I don't know who he is, I don't even know if he's here, but as soon as the house started building, he put up, "We sell pigs." There ain't no pigs on that property, I'll tell you that much, sir. And he started collecting scrap, okay? The neighbor from across the street, I have the recording. My husband was videotaping the cows, and she walked over and she said, "Hey, Romanian, what you doing over here? Come over here. You don't know how to speak English? I'll teach you." I'm sorry. I am sorry. We're in 2025. What separates us from the KKK, from Nazi Germany? What separates us? We're right back where we are.
Ma'am, I cannot allow this.
Okay.
You're not speaking to the rezone request.
Okay. I'm
I
just
need
trying
you
to
to speak
say.
to the rezone request,
Okay.
or we need to move on.
It's sad to see that our neighbors got together and is trying to push any city folk out here. That's the bottom line. Okay, we're hardworking Americans. We work every penny. I pay my mortgage to AGU Farm, and I pay my taxes just like you all do. And this is not right.
Yes, ma'am.
That's all I have to say.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I truly understand, but that's not what we're here for tonight, okay? I'll close the public hearing and bring it back to the board. And I will entertain a motion.
Can I ask Tracy? This is within our comprehensive plan, right? Because I see the high density.
It's the AR zone.
I know there's medium density, so agriculture, so it's within the, okay.
Could I get some clarification from Mike if I could? So do I understand you to say that if we approve this, and if there's any future splits for the rest of the property, it would need to come back before us for approval for a rezone if he wanted to split off more in the future, and we could approve or deny those at that time?
More small lots, yes, sir.
Right.
Because the remainder is 71 acres. And the minimum is so large in A1, he could do splits within those minimums, but not obviously.
So in the future, if it came back before us and we felt like the density in that area, if he wanted 3 more or 5, whatever, and the density that he's creating is inappropriate for that character area, we could deny it at that time.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Further discussion?
I'll
entertain a motion.
I make a motion to approve.
I'll second that, Mr. Chairman.
We have a motion by Cynthia and a second by Bruce to approve. Any further comments or questions?
And Mr. Chairman, if I may, just one thing I noticed, there is a site plan there of where those new lots would be. I don't know if that matters to the commission or not, but if your motion to approve is based on those being where they're shown on the site plan, then conformity with the site plan should be a condition.
Oh, okay, there, okay.
Well, as presented on site plan.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You want to amend that, you want to amend the motion or change the motion?
Yeah, I amend the motion to be according to the site.
I hate to muddy the water, let me ask you this. I located this, we've never had to enforce it before, but 5.3.2 says 3 or more lots divided from a parent, but the length can be no more than 4 times the width, which means the lots on the site plan would need to be adjusted.
Good point. Good point. So, perhaps the condition then would be that they would be located on the north side of the property, adjacent to the existing split, but still somehow configured to comply with that requirement.
Right.
Or perhaps you don't care where they are on the property, in which case you don't need a condition.
Well, you do care because of what you just said. You know, maybe the motion needs to be that it complies with that particular regulation.
Well, no, I mean, it has to comply anyway. I mean, it has to, you know.
Yeah.
I just didn't know if it mattered to y'all whether it's on the north side versus the south side versus in the middle. If it doesn't matter, then forget I said anything.
It doesn't.
Okay. Tell us how.
So I think Ms. Fortune's back to her original motion.
My original.
Okay, no
Without
conditions.
site.
No conditions,
Okay.
yeah.
Second.
It is a matter of condition. According to, okay.
You wanted to say according to site plan?
It can't.
Oh,
It
okay.
won't match.
It won't match,
It won't
right?
match.
So, yeah, I think just, unless you really have a strong feeling about where these are located, assuming the motion passes, then just make it a straight motion, I think.
Because, yeah.
Okay, we have a motion and a second.
You know, just a quick question. I'm a little bit confused. Okay. I'm looking up at the AR parcels that we're looking at there that's been split out. Now, we're saying that configuration of those is gonna change.
They'll have to.
It has to.
They have to meet what Lee just pointed out.
I'm having trouble envisioning what that would look like.
It means that if he wants them the length of the width of the entire property, that can't be more than 4 times the width of the property. So the dimensions of the parcels will probably have to change to meet that.
Is that only for the ARs?
No.
Is there anybody?
Well, I was gonna say, of course, I'm sure those R1.
Just for three or more.
Oh, okay, 3 or more.
That's the uniqueness of that.
But the point is that they pretty much have to get it configured to be within the parameters that you're talking about. But
Correct.
all right. But within the parcel of those 12, the 12 acres is being cut out. I got you. Yeah, my second still stands.
All right. We have a motion and a second to recommend approval. No particular conditions, except they have to meet what Lee has just pointed out. That doesn't have to be a condition within this motion. Any further comments? All right. Kim?
No. Yes.
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 4-1. This has been approved. We will recommend it to the Board of Commissioners that it's been approved. I would say to the people that are here, you folks that were opposed, please show up on March the 3rd and present your opposition, because the final decision is by the Board of Commissioners. With that, we'll move on to one that's been waiting patiently.
Y'all need to take a break?
No, we're going home.
Oh, I need to read it.
Okay?
So, Victor Johnson, applicant and attorney for Kim Miller and Pam Lovett, is requesting to rezone a 1.60 acre portion with an existing rental home of their 77.03 acres from A1 to R1 to allow it to be split, and the remaining 75.43 acres will remain in the A1 zone, and to allow it to become eligible for the Conservation Use Program for tax purposes. Property is located at 3661 Diamond Hill Culvert Road in Hull, on map 44, parcel 65 in District 5.
All right, Mr. Johnson?
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Victor Johnson. I'm with Graham Law Firm, 66 General Daniel Avenue South, Danielsville, Georgia. I know over half of you. I have been doing zoning hearings for 25 of the last 30 years, but I haven't done one in 5 years since Mr. Graham retired. The Miller family have been clients of Graham Law Firm the whole 30 years I've been. This property is now owned by the grandchildren of J. Hope Miller. Hope died in 1961. He owned, through the years, he and his wife Annie acquired property along this part of Highway 29. They actually owned the property that became Jackson EMC 20 years ago. This property was acquired from 1928, 1932, 1941, 1948, 1954, and 1957.
Just a moment. Would someone please ask those gentlemen, please move on down the hallway, please, where we can hear.
This piece is 77.03 acres remaining out of that original 110 acres, which was the Miller home place. When Hope Miller passed away before I was born in 1961, he left the property to his wife Annie for her life, then to his son Marvin for his life, and then to Marvin's children. And in November of 2023, we were able to do an estate deed from Hope Miller's estate to Ken and Pam Lovett, Kim Miller and Pam Lovett. They want to keep this property in its current use, which is mostly wooded area and pasture land that's being leased. The house was the Miller home place. They've asked to rezone the 1.6 acres at 3661 Diamond Hill Culvert Road to R1 so they can split that piece off. Their intention is to keep the remaining 75.43 acres as A1. They want that property for Ken's sons. They will probably set up a family farm LLC to own the property. They do not intend to change the use of the property. So the reason we're here is so that the rental house can be split out, because there is another home site and a well on this property. And you can't have two houses on a piece of land, and qualify for the current use, which people call conservation use valuation, farm designation for agricultural property, because you cannot lease a house unless your tenant farmer or your caretaker is running the farm, and that's not the situation. So we are respectfully requesting that the rezone be allowed so that the site plan drawn up by Tommy Paul would be followed. The 1.6 acres would be split off as an R1 rental house. That house has been occupied and rented since shortly after Marvin Miller passed away, and he passed away back in 2004, I believe. Yes, July 2004. I do have a request. I'm happy to answer any questions. I would ask, if possible, that the zoning hearings that were postponed from January due to the snowstorm be put at the top of the agenda for the March 3rd Board of Commissioners meeting. I submitted the initial paperwork on this rezone on November 7th. The only thing I did not have was the permission from my two clients. I won't get into whether I think that's a violation of the state bar standards to require an attorney to get permission from his client to represent them. Which it is. But we got the approval, and I just would respectfully request, if possible, these postponed hearings from January be moved up ahead of the ones that were submitted later. Also, a little bit of information in line with what y'all had mentioned about the original zoning in Madison County. I've been doing zoning since 1995, 1996 in this county. I've seen a lot of changes in the zoning ordinance. Originally, people were not totally informed when their parcels were given zoning designations, because there are a number of half-acre, 1 acre, and 2 acre lots that were zoned A1 and A2.
Yes.
I have clients with existing commercial businesses that were zoned A1 and A2. And they have to rezone to cut a piece of the land off because the business is on an A1 property. That's neither here nor there, but just for your information, when zoning was first passed, it was to try to keep Madison County agricultural, and the people working on it got a little overzealous in what was agricultural and what isn't. My wife and I moved out here in 1987, but
I welcome all the help I can get.
because this was an agricultural county. We moved out here because she had horses, and I knew she was my life. We were going to be together. We needed a place for horses. It was cheaper to move to Madison County and live here and drive to Athens to go to school than to rent a house and board 2 horses.
Thank you, Victor. I was on that first group, so we got over.
Well, you knew Mr. Smith.
Yes, we got over it though.
And I wasn't pointing to anybody here, but that's just a little history. If you have questions, I'll answer them. If not, I'll.
Any questions for Victor? Any questions?
No. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right. With that, we will open the public hearing. And is there anyone here who wants to speak in favor of this rezone request? Hearing none, is there anyone here who wants to speak in opposition to this rezone request? Hearing none, we will close the public hearing, bring it back to the board. Now we'll entertain a motion.
Chair, I'll make a motion to approve. I'll second.
All right, now a motion to approve, McKenzie, and a second from me. Any further questions? If not, Lee?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, 5-0 to approve, and this we will recommend to the Board of Commissioners for their approval, and that will be on March the 3rd. And you can go home and have dinner and tell your wife she can blame me for you not getting home by 7 o'clock.
Thank you all, and thank y'all for what you do. It's not, it's a thankless position, and it's necessary.
And the next time you have an urge to give Victor or lawyers in general a hard time, remember how patiently he's
Well, he wasn't really patient because he came in early. All right, number 12, Debbie Wood.
Okay, Debbie Wood, applicant for the Joseph and Mary Thompson Estate, is requesting to rezone a 4-acre portion of the 53.54 acres from A1 to AR to allow it to be split for inheritance purposes. The remaining acreage will stay in the A1 zone. Property is located at 715 Hudson Rivers Church Road in Danielsville on map 24, parcel 44 in District 1.
All right, Ms. Wood?
Hi,
Hi.
I'm Debbie Wood. My parents left me the house and 3 acres, and we have to rezone it to 4 acres.
Huh?
You have 3 acres and
My daddy left the house and 3 acres, but now the county requires the 4 acres, so we have to rezone.
so you have 4 acres, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And the rest went to my brother.
Yeah, the house and, I guess 3 acres. That's 4. That's what she.
4 acres. No, that's not what she said. She
I know
said,
she said 3 acres in the house.
Uh-huh.
So does the house sit on an acre?
It's on that,
Oh, wait a minute.
On that 4-acre tract.
You just trying to spread out 4 acres.
Yeah.
Right.
try to split out 4 acres.
Yeah, okay.
Correct. All right, so have any questions for this couple? If not, thank you so much. All right, we will open the public hearing. Anyone want to speak in favor of this rezone request? Hearing none, anyone want to speak in opposition to this rezone request? Hearing none, close the public hearing and bring it back to the board, and I'll entertain a motion.
I move that we approve this request.
Have a motion to approve?
Second.
Have a second? Any further questions or comments? If not, Mr. Smith?
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes.
5-0 to approve. We will recommend to the Board of Commissioners for approval, but I do recommend that you come in case they have questions that we didn't have.
Thank you.
Number 13, patient number 13, Hazel Hart.
Hazel Hart, applicant for Julie Hart, is requesting to rezone her 8.53 acres.
Excuse me, ma'am,
Her 8.53 acres from A1 to AR to allow the property to be split into 2 equal tracts of approximately 4.26 acres each, and to bring the property into compliance with zoning regulations. Property is located at 2587 Moons Grove Church Road in Colbert on map 42, parcel 13-02 in District 3, and Miss Julie is actually here to represent instead of her mom.
okay.
My mother was planning to be here in January, so I was able to be here this one. To an empty room now. That's right. So I was here back in, I think it was November, and I initially wanted to do, an R1 AR split. I'm moving out of state, I'm moving to Missouri. That's the reason my mother was going to be here because, anyway, got play done. So at that time, y'all didn't want to do that, so I changed it. Trying to go to AR now, which actually, like the lawyer said earlier, my land actually probably should have been AR anyway, because it was only 8.5 acres. So
Correct.
anyway, that's what we're doing. That's why I'm here. So.
All right, now any questions for Ms. Hart? Thank you much. Well, since the room is empty, we don't have any, one to speak for it, or we don't have anyone to speak in opposition. So with that, I will entertain a motion.
I make a motion to say yes.
Approved?
Approved.
Yes.
It's a long night.
Okay, motion to approve? Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Got a second? Any further questions or comments? All right, Bruce?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
All right, 5-0 to approve. We will recommend to the Board of Commissioners to approve. You don't have to be here, but I do suggest you be here in case they have questions that we didn't have.
Glad to see you move out of state.
I have a flight home on the fourth, so I'm planning to be here.
All right, thank you. So,
Thank you so much.
thank you guys for your patience, and it's been a long night. We had some
Beat up.
ups and downs, but, we got through it, so thank you very much for what you do, and
Thanks, Scott.
I guess a motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion to adjourn.
Yes, sir. All right.
I thought Mike was fixing to.
All in favor, say aye.
Good situation.
You, you may want to get at the,
I can't believe that.
Camera off.
man, yeah, I had to stop it. I mean, you can fake that all you want.